So I have been testing this 77-inch LG G2 OLED for the past few weeks, and the latest firmware update of 3.20 has brought about a number of new features and bug fixes, thus improving picture quality compared to when I first reviewed the 65-inch G2 around 4 months ago. 1. The Dolby Vision Cinema mode is now more accurate out of the box. Previously, the PQ-UTF tracking in Dolby Vision Cinema mode before any calibration was significantly brighter than reference, causing skin tones to look unnatural with a more washed-out appearance overall. After installing firmware 3.20, the PQ-UTF tracking measured closer to the ST2084 reference standard, immediately improving the light distribution and cinematic quality of the Dolby Vision picture in out-of-the-box cinema mode. 2. The new Dolby Vision Precision Detail feature has now been unlocked, and you can find the setting under the Clarity submenu during playback of Dolby Vision content. However, purists may not find this feature useful for 2 reasons. 1. Precision Detail is grayed out in every Dolby Vision picture preset except in the Cinema Home mode that's part of the Dolby Vision IQ technology, which seeks to compensate for ambient lighting, meaning that the Dolby Vision presentation would be brightened up, especially in low-light scenes. But this would also deviate from the creative intent in the strictest sense of the term. And 2. Engaging precision detail would introduce occasional flickering artifacts during certain scenes in Dolby Vision shows, particularly from streaming apps, so sensitive viewers would probably prefer to turn the setting off. Improvement number 3. Previously, some of LG's 2022 OLED TVs, including our 77G2 review sample, would exhibit the faintest glow on full-field video black, even with black level lowered all the way to 0, which may be visible in a pitch-black room, especially during disk loading sequences. This has now been fixed since firmware 3.20, so blacks are no longer raised, however slightly, on the LG C2 and G2. Improvement number 4. On previous firmwares, the lower half of the white balance adjustment points were missing in HDR10 mode, be it 10-point or 22-point, but this bug has been addressed in firmware 3.20, so enthusiast owners can now calibrate multi-point white balance manually in all HDR10 picture modes, such as HDR Cinema or HDR Filmmaker mode. Otherwise, the 77-inch LG G2 carries many of the strengths we've previously identified in our reviews of the C2 and G2 earlier this year. The new O22 chipset, marketed as Alpha 9 Gen 5 processor by LG, has brought a number of improvements over 2021 OLED televisions such as the C1 and G1. Near black gamma tracking is more precise with less dithering needed, resulting in cleaner and more accurate shadow detailing. Native 10-bit gradation is now smoother, particularly noticeable in Game Optimizer mode at 4K 120Hz. Upscaling is sharper than before, ranging from this SMPTE RP133 test card in 576i and this grubby standard definition broadcast from ITV4 to this high-definition broadcast from BBC HD, and finally a pristine 1080p Blu-ray of Skyfall. The bigger 77-inch screen size may make the inherent 24p stutter, laid bare by OLED's near-instantaneous pixel response time, even more obvious, prompting some owners to engage TrueMotion to smooth out the stutter. And the good news is, LG's cinematic movement setting has seen further improvement this year, introducing less interpolation artifacts and soap opera effect or SOE in 24p films than on 2021 models. LG's 2022 TrueMotion algorithm also incurs less microstutter during hand gestures and head movements in 50Hz broadcast content you get in PAL regions such as the UK and other European countries. One unique selling point or USP of LG OLEDs is their capability to be 3D light calibrated to achieve very high color accuracy. And indeed, after calibration using Kalman AutoCal, average delta error came in under 0.5 on this challenging color checker SG chart where 140 patches were measured, translating to faithful reproduction of the creative intent in real-world viewing. Talking about creative intent, One display that has been rapidly gaining popularity among video professionals for color grading is the LG OLED Pro 32EP950 monitor, which I reviewed last year. And recently, the company also released its newer 32-inch and 27-inch BP95E series that comes with self-auto calibration sensor and monitor hood, in addition to pixel-level light control and high color accuracy required by creative professionals. On the 22nd of September, LG is actually hosting an online webinar with 2 professional colorists who will give you the lowdown on these monitors, including how to optimize them for your grading suite. LG Electronics is even giving away a prize of a 40-inch ultra-wide monitor for one lucky attendee. So if you are interested to see if the LG EP950 or BP95E is a suitable monitor for your grading suite, or how to set it up properly, please register using the link in the YouTube description below. Thanks again for your support. Okay, back to this review of the LG G2. Here are some findings we measured on our 77-inch review unit. HDR peak brightness measured 900 nits on a 10% window after calibration to D65 white point and 170 nits full fill. DCI-P3 color gamut reached 99% in UV terms, whereas Rec 2020 coverage was 76%, which is par for the course for a WBE OLED panel such as that found on the 77 G2. Bright uniformity was excellent on our review sample, with no dirty screen effect or bending on full-fill gray slides. However, because WBE OLED panels will always turn pink off-axis, you may see some pink tint along the sides of the screen depending on how far you sit from the television, since the sides are going to be off-center relative to your eyes. Dark uniformity was decent, considering that uniformity generally gets worse with larger screen sizes. Due to us filming in log to capture dark detail, it looked markedly worse on camera than in real life. For gaming, input lag measured 13 milliseconds at 60 frames per second in game optimizer mode, dropping to 9.5 milliseconds with boost mode engaged. At 120 frames per second, input lag halved to a super responsive 4.8 milliseconds. Selecting HGIG would still result in a slight under-tracking of the PQ UTF on our review unit, even on the latest firmware of 3.20, but you can use the tone map upload functionality when calibrating game optimizer mode to force a hard clip and simulate HGIG. The tone map upload feature wasn't working in game optimizer mode when we reviewed the 65-inch LG G2 a few months ago, so this is one more thing that LG fixed. To sum up, the LG OLED 77 G2 is the best overall TV you can buy in the 75 to 77-inch size class in 2022. Because even the best 75-inch mini LED TVs still suffer from blooming and backlight fluctuations due to lack of pixel-level light control, and QD OLEDs only top out at 65 inches this year, realistically the toughest competition the 77 G2 will face in its size class are from other 77-inch OLEDs equipped with OLED EX panel and heatsink, such as the Panasonic LZ2000 and the Philips OLED Plus 937. LG's development of its own in-house SoC has paid dividends here, conferring many advantages over other TVs using a MediaTek HDMI 2.1 chipset, which is more restrictive in one way or another. For example, the 77-inch LG G2 can be 3D LUT calibrated. It provides 4 full bandwidth HDMI 2.1 ports with class-leading input lag. It can resolve full 4K 120Hz resolution with HDR, VRR, and working HGIG, and it supports the most advanced Dolby Vision features, including 4K 120Hz Dolby Vision gaming from the Xbox Series X. In addition, the latest software update of 3.20 has fixed some bugs and improved picture quality even further, cementing LG's reputation as arguably the most responsive manufacturer today in terms of firmware support. For these reasons, the 77-inch LG G2 receives our highly recommended Best in Class award. Now, of course, the competition is fiercer at smaller screen sizes, owing to the presence of QD OLED TVs. To find out how the 55-inch LG G2 fared against the Samsung S95B and the Sony A95K QD OLEDs in our annual TV shootout event, please click here for our coverage video.